Gebert Janssen. Gebert has more than 20 years experience on the mice industry, and he has been a lecturer for more than 10 years at the university. And tell us a little bit about you, Gebert, so that people will be, you know, a little bit acquainted with you.
Okay, I can tell you something about myself, how it all started. It all started with my study at the conservatory, music. So in history, I studied music, and I was an artist. And during my artist career, a lot of clients asked me to play at a party or at an event. And I was already booked, so I booked a colleague of me, and so I had an artist agency during my study. And after my study, I was working with my artist agency, and I was also performing. And there were some clients asking me to organize an event, and that was far before you could study for an event manager. And I started to organize events, and that was growing and growing. And now more than 20 years later, I have an event agency in the Netherlands, in Germany, and also in 13 other countries. We are working from that country with the name the Event Architect Group. And nearby, I'm also teaching at the university and everything what has to do with event management.
Storytelling, how is storytelling used to create a concept of an event? When I have an event, I need to have a concept, and I know you're a specialist on storytelling. So how is it done?
Yes, I can tell you that, and I prepared something for this question. I have some slides that I can show you. So I start sharing the screen now. And I always start this part, who is a storyteller? Because to tell a story, you need a storyteller. And if I show you the Minister of America in the last period, Barack Obama, he was a very good storyteller. And you can tell your stories also with music. Everybody knows it. Your mother or father probably was a very good storyteller in history. So who is a storyteller? And I can tell you, everybody can be a storyteller. You as well. So let's start with what's a good story? What do you need? There are 3 pillars. There's the pillar of the content, there's a pillar of structure, and there's a pillar of the layout. And if you are talking about the content, it is very important that you can ask, what are you telling? Are you talking about the structure? Then it's important that you can say, how are you telling the story? And the other one, the layout, is very important. Where are you telling the story? So I think there are 3 very important pillars that you can use to tell a story. And if you make a link to events, with the event you can tell a story. So the content is important, the structure is important, and the layout. And I'll show you that with some examples. Talking about layout, if you are going to a bookstore, there are many, many books laying on tables, and you are walking in, and after a short visit, you can buy and you can make a choice. And why is that? Why is it that you can make a choice? Is the book telling you a story? Is it the title, or is it the slogan of the book? Maybe the smell of the book. I know people who smell the book and they are thinking, that's the one I want to buy. So you can ask for yourself, why can you find a book in a bookstore when there is so much choice? So if you are looking at the title, if you are seeing the title, the mouse is dancing at a table. If that was a title, is it a story? I don't think so. I think if you are making the mouse is dancing at the cat's table, everybody can see in his mind a story now. So the title is very important. Is the title already giving you a story so that you can put something in your mind, yes or no? Then another thing is the use of colors. If you are using some colors, it's important that you are thinking, why am I using the colors? And here you see some very famous brands using some colors. And what do the colors mean? If you are choosing the blue color and you see brands like Dell, HP, a lot of famous brands using the blue color. And blue tells something about trust. And that's programmed in our minds. And if we see yellow, for example, then with a very yellow color, we think, oh, it's the best buy, it's cheap. And so you can see that a lot of brands are using the yellow color to send the message that it's the best buy to buy over there. But yellow, of course, means also optimism or clarity or warmth. Then another thing, music is also very important. If you choose for music, it has a lot of psychological influence. For example, if you are using in a restaurant fast music, then the people will act quickly. And maybe in a restaurant, you can sell the table 2 times in the evening when you are putting fast music at the background. If you make the right choice for the music, you can sell more. Watch out, if you are going to the supermarket, I think you can hear some music at the background. That background music, they choose that very well because it's proven that if they are using the right music, the people are selling more. And I can show this with a short demo. For example, in this shop, this music. How does it feel? Does it fit together? So it shows us that if you want to tell a story and you are using the right music and it fits together, it's only a detail, music, but it's very important to use the right details.
Yeah.
So then about the content. The content is also very important. What are you telling? What story are you telling? So the message is important and the script. What kind of message do you want to send to the people, to the guests? So it must be credible. It must be recognizable. And of course, it must be exciting. And then you can ask for yourself, is it a real story or is it created? Because if it must be recognizable, then the real story is mostly the best. But I will show you that you can create a nice story as well. But first of all, you see in a lot of stories that they are using a kind of a structure. And the dramaturgy is used a lot in that. And it all starts with an opening. And you see here the opening. And then the storyline is going shorter in exposition. And the exposition is the part that everybody learns to know the people who have a main character in the story. And then there is a point of conflict. Something happens. And then everybody's thinking, hey, what's happening? And the attention is growing and the tension is growing as well. So then there is a development and a point of crisis. And we say an emotional climax. And then there is abatement. It's going back and it's going back to normal again. And then there is a technical climax, a resolution, and a closing. This is a little bit how you can see how the tension is going in a good story. And I think if you recognize the line a little bit and you think back to the bookstore and you are buying a book from a detective or something like that, or a thriller, and you think at the dramaturgy, and I think you can, the good books, you can push it together, and this kind of structure, you can recognize it in the books.
Awesome.
I want to show you now something. What I mean with a real story. Something happened in Barcelona in '92. And I put in the movie also the points that you saw in the dramaturgy. And it fits in this movie. And you will see that's a real story. After this, I want to show you the same story, and then the structure is not so good anymore. You can't put the structure form in that movie. But first of all, I want to show you this movie.
Amazing.
Story. That's a nice story. Eh?
I mean, how in a very short period of time you can really move the feelings of the people who's watching through storytelling. And
Yes.
what you're telling us is that storytelling will allow us to provoke these, feelings or sentiments while we are, doing everything we need to do if we prepare ourselves to have an event with this technique of storytelling.
Of course, that's the point. And now I want to show you the same story, but used by Visa, the credit card, but the structure is missing.
Okay.
And I'm sure that you don't have the same feeling.
Okay.
Let's see.
So let's say this is the wrong use of a storytelling.
Yes.
Derek Redmond didn't finish in first place on 1992 400 meter. He didn't finish in second, or third, or fourth. He and his father finished dead last. But he and his father finished. Visa, proud sponsor of the Olympic Games and the only card accepted there.
So now we see the same story. But did it work for you?
No, it lacked that, final surprising moments. Like, you don't know what's going on, who's the person that is, crossing the security. So like everything is said before, so it loses the whole point of,
Yes,
in the story.
Exactly. Remember the first real story that I showed you, and the structure, and everybody knows Disney. And Disney doesn't have any real stories. They created stories. And I want to show you that a created story can work as well. And maybe it gives you another feeling, but it works. The quality of the movie is not so good, but I put also the structure in the movie so that you can see where in the structure we are during the movie.
Oh wow, that was a very, very funny story and very catching also.
Yes, and you see the structure was okay now, and then it works. That's what I wanted to show as well. In a creative story, it works as well. So if you are creating an event, use the storyline and use the dramaturgy, and you will see that it works.
Awesome. But how long is that process? I mean, how many
It depends.
days
It can
are
be
involved for doing storytelling for an event? How long will that take?
Not so long. I think you can use it, but I will show you in the next slide as well. You have a lot of touch points, and you are telling your story at the first touch point, and you are finishing your story at the last touch point. And you can tell a story during an evening program. If the people are coming in for a party or for an event, keep the best for the right moment. And the tension has to be growing. And every step that you are making with the guests, the tension must be a little bit higher. Like in a book, like in a movie. Otherwise, everybody is going with other thoughts somewhere else, and they are not paying any attention again at your party or at your event.
Right, it's like a flat event, just
yes,
nothing thrilling or really amazing or surprising happening throughout.
Yes, you have to build up the tension.
I see.
And if you're talking also about stories, if you think of the first movie that I showed you, I think everybody remember that story if you were there in Barcelona. And we are 15 to 20 times more likely to remember a story than a bullet list. So a story is going in your mind and it will stay there. That's also, I'm sure everybody knows the story that your parents were telling you when you were a child. And you are telling it to your child again, you know, you are giving it through. And why is that working? Because it's authentic, it's emotional, it's honest and straight, and it's understandable. That's important. And what I told you before, it's very important to use the touch points, because every event has more touch points than you are thinking about. Because everything starts with an invitation. That's the first touch point that you have with the guests. Then with the invitation, the story is starting. And then you do some promo. Maybe you call, or you send something at new media or at a website. Use all the touch points and in your story. And I'm sure that if you are doing that, it will work. And then this is also a schedule that you can find in my book. This is a little bit the story arch for an incentive. It all starts with an invitation. And then you see the rising action, you sign in, internet, oh, where am I going? Then the start of the incentive, the tension is growing. You are coming in the hotel, the program starts, and then maybe there is a closing evening with a nice program. And after that, there is a return trip, and the action will fall, and the tension as well. And then you're coming home, and you are watching a movie. So this is a little bit the story arc of an incentive. So I think for this moment, it's good to use storytelling, and I hope you have a little bit an answer on your question. And if you want to know more, of course, you can read my book.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm gonna use this opportunity to tell the people that you have this amazing book, who is gonna be published in Chinese and Spanish. And I have the honor of reviewing the final version of the Spanish version now, and it's going to be available. When is it going to be available, and how is it available right now, the English version?
Yes, first of all, you must be ready, and some other people as well, for reviewing it. And then we are working on it, and it will be a digital book for several reasons, but especially I think in the future we will read more digital, and it's also meant for a lot of students in schools, so digital is easier and cheaper. And we don't have to send it, because if you are wanting it now, in 5 minutes you can have it. It will be available on the website, therealmiceBook.com, www.therealmiceBook.com, and all the information is on the website. And there you can find also the information when it will be exactly available on the market in Mexico, on the Spanish market. And the English book is already available. That's in the version that you showed, this version. You can order that already on the website. And it is also as a digital version, the second edition already, is also you can buy it, and that's also you can find all the information on the website. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, really, the book is around 400 pages, so it's really very complete, and it is just not for events. I mean, it's for the whole mice industry. So I really highly recommend it, because it's really very, very valuable in terms of